Aquariuses, welcome to April 2018 and thank you so much for joining me. I am going to talk about the free photo reading for sure. I just want to talk about what's going on in the sky first and what's going on in the cards second so that you know exactly what picture to send, because a lot of the times you want to send a picture of yourself with the person that comes up in the spread just to get clarity. It's really to enhance the reading in a way, and also to say thank you. Okay, so let's get started, Aquarius. So, March 31st, that full moon in Libra, how was it for you guys? That full moon in Libra, especially because it was over the holidays, right? So we were all spending time with our family, you know, depending on how you, or what you celebrate. Seeing the family, seeing the friends, you really start to see the relationships for how they are, for how clear they are. That full moon in Libra was awesome, or horrible, depending on your experience, because we were able to see those relationships, and if we detached ourselves enough, we were able to just own it and say, okay, yeah, I attracted that into my life. I take ownership for the relationship that I'm now living with this person, and I'm releasing you know, anything that is not for the highest good of this relationship. So not necessarily breaking up or pushing a family member away, but at least saying, okay, that's you. I've attracted that side of you into my awareness and into my knowledge. I own it in myself because we can't see anything in anybody that we ourselves don't possess. I own it in myself, and I'm not going to hold it against you anymore. I'm going to accept you for it. I'm going to forgive you for it. And I'm going to continue living my life and enjoying it in the best way possible. So that's what the full moon in Libra was giving us a chance to do. There's still time to do it. There's still time to do it, to really look back and say, okay, you know, my sister or whoever, it is what it is. That's who they're going to be. I accept you. I love you. MoveOn.org. Okay, Mercury direct. So April 15th, Mercury finally goes direct. It's been retrograde since the 22nd, and it has been wreaking havoc everywhere. Like, Mercury retrograde has been insane. And I think it's because it's the first of 2018. It's the first of the year. I don't know. I feel like it has been so brutal. But the good thing about Mercury retrograde is it's time for reflection. You can really go inward. You can rethink, rejuvenate, reanalyze, you know, reflect, do whatever you need to do to kind of re-up your power and your energy, and how you're communicating with people and how you're understanding people. That's why a lot of the times exes come back in. Either they come in through a dream or they actually come into your inbox and, oh, that didn't sound good, but come into your life and you're kind of like, wow, why did I date this person? You know? And it makes us kind of really realize, okay, we haven't finished that lesson. We haven't learned that lesson. So Mercury is an excellent time for issues to come back up into our lives, for us to kind of go through it and be like, all right, if this is coming back up, then obviously I still have some pain and I need to clear it. New moon is in Aries on April 15th, so that's really fun because the new moon in Aries is going to give us all a chance to manifest and start writing a list about what we want to initiate, what we want to start, what we want to pioneer, any newness we want to begin. Use that April 15th new moon in Aries to write it down. Write it down as if you already have it. You know, I'm happy that I have an unexpected $250,000 in my bank account. I'm happy that I successfully launched my online business. Something like that. Write it down. Read it every day for the next 6 months until you start to see it materialize. Believe it. You know, don't give up on it before it has a chance to manifest into your life, because that's kind of what I've been learning the most about the law of attraction. Is we can for so long believe it, it's coming, and we'll start to see it in our energy and in our surroundings. You know, for instance, you want to get a new car and you keep seeing that car because you're thinking about it so much, and then you start getting angry because you're like, I keep seeing that freaking car, why can't I have it? And then you're like, I obviously can't have it, and then the law of attraction is like, yeah, you're right, and then everything goes back down to zero. So if you're seeing something that you want to manifest into your life, you're seeing other people achieving those goals, that's a direct sign from the universe that it's coming. The universe, that's how the universe is like, it's on its way. Keep thinking about it. Do you still want it? You know, it's just little reminders to be like, the universe is working hard behind the scenes to give you exactly what you want. So April 15th, write it down. Go big or go home with it. April 17th is Saturn retrograde. Saturn is that planet of restriction, and it really puts obstacles in our path. And when it goes retrograde, those are inner obstacles and inner restrictions. So it's really us saying, I can't do that, or no, that's not going to work, or, you know, and we kind of end up being our own worst enemy. So that is from April 17th to September 6th. Use that to dig deeper and be like, okay, why am I feeling that way? Why do I feel like I can't achieve this goal? Why am I putting up this obstacle and self-undoing myself? Where is it stemming from? For instance, this is what I find can be tricky or easy depending on your memory, okay? If you're having difficulties at work, and with this Saturn return, you can kind of look inward and be like, what was my first difficulty at work? What was my first difficulty with a boss, with an employer, with a coworker, with getting a job? What was my first situation that told me that doing this is difficult, or working with this person is difficult? Using that as a root source to just own it, say, okay, that's not my belief anymore. It happened one time. So a lot of times it doesn't even happen to you. It happened to Jenny on the block that told you about it, and you're like now saying, well, that's my truth now. But you look back and you're like, oh, that actually, I've only had positive experiences. So removing those blockers, removing those beliefs with the Saturn retrograde from now until September 6th, okay? And that works in every aspect, even relationships. So love, spirituality, finances, work, growth, material items, whatever you feel like you can't get because there's a blocker, Saturn retrograde is going to really put that mirror up for you to look at it and say, is this really your blocker? You know, this is an obstacle that you need to overcome, or else this is how your life is going to be until you decide to clear it. So Saturn retrograde can be quite the benefit if you use it to your advantage. That brings me to Pluto retrograde on April 22nd. And Pluto, it's a little more intense. Saturn retrograde is an obstacle. Pluto retrograde is deep down issues and transformation and death and sex and taxes and other people's money and inheritances and, you know, resources and your spouse's money. Like, it's all that stuff that you just don't want to talk about because it's so taboo and, you know, tacky to talk about it. But all that stuff you don't want to talk about, you're going to be having that inner dialogue with yourself about it. Like, how, you know? And then using that information to fuel the full moon in Scorpio on April 29th. So using the Pluto retrograde on the 22nd to really start thinking about, you know, those deep down issues that you have that you may have even suppressed. Like, a lot of the times the Pluto retrograde is going to bring up some stuff where you're like, oh my God, I remember in childhood that this, that. And then you start to clear it, because a lot of the times we'll suppress abuse or, you know, a childhood pain or trauma, and we'll completely push it away. But Pluto retrograde is going to be like, no, come look at it. Come take a look. How have you been living your life because of this, you know, even this one comment that bully made to you? How are you now living your life because of that? So Pluto retrograde is going to put you face to face with your ultimate fears, those deep down issues, so that you can say, okay, it's a full moon in Scorpio on the 29th. Goodbye. You're not running my life anymore. And it's really just owning it so it no longer owns you. Okay, so 8 minutes in. Now, let's get started on the reading, and then of course I will talk about the photo readings, okay? So, this reading is for Aquarius, April 2018. Aquarius, April 2018. Okay, so you guys figured something out in a relationship. You guys got wise about something with that full moon in Libra. Starting to realize that things aren't black and white. Starting to realize that you've been comparing yourself to you've been trying to measure up to somebody else's standards. Really trying to compete with somebody who just doesn't even hold a flame to you. Think about your own progress. Think about how, you know, put the measuring stick up when it comes to your life, you know, and really question how far you've come, okay? New money, new power, new money and new power. So that new money and new power that came in for you guys, it really brought up a lot of issues with the relationship where you're starting to see some things, starting to see all the different angles, because you guys are doing a lot better. Aquariuses are doing way better, and it's like, you know, these friendships and these relationships and these partnerships coming out of the woodwork now, starting to see like, so where were you when I was down? Now I'm doing well and you're here and now you have your hand out. No, doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. So that's what you gained. That's the knowledge that you've learned with that full moon in Libra. It's time to really follow that through, okay? Because you've attracted that. Where in your life have you done that to someone? Have you done that to someone where when what am I thinking here? Have you done it to them in which, when they were down, you were gone? And when they were up, you were back because it was fun at first. You know, it was all fun and games at one point. And what maybe you haven't acknowledged is that that full moon really brought in issues with this King of Wands type person. So this King of Wands is somebody that you've been competing with. Either, I'm wondering, see, like I was just telling the Capricorn, the King of Wands and the King and the Queens and the Knights, for some reason this month, they've been more of an energy as opposed to an actual person. So what I'm thinking is that you have been competing on some subconscious level with this different type of energy because you guys are air signs, and this King of Wands is the embodiment of a worker, somebody who naturally puts themselves on a pedestal, has confidence, has, you know, grace, has desire, has, you know, this roar to them where they walk into a room and, you know, people naturally give them attention because of that measuring system. They were able to kind of, they're that measuring, that ruler that you've been measuring yourself to, okay? So this is either an actual person that you know, who I'm talking about, either Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius energy, or it's somebody that you want to embody. It's somebody that you just, you know, even like a celebrity or even just like a status or reputation that you really want to embody, that you've been fighting for. And that's what that full moon in Libra brought to you, okay? So you've been having some fun, enjoying yourself a little bit with that full moon in Libra, and that full moon in Scorpio as well is bringing up a lot of deep down issues when it comes to how you feel. A lot of stuff from the past to be cleared. Because the stuff from the past that hasn't been cleared, that you're still fighting yourself on, is really messing with your foundational strength. How you feel on a foundational level. Okay? Okay. I think that's all we're going to get. That's what your subconscious wanted you to know right off the bat. That you've uncovered something with that new money and that new power that came in. You've uncovered something in a relationship. You've uncovered something in a relationship. You were having fun at first. That full moon in Libra really shifted things around, especially when it comes to this King of Wands person. And, you know, you're really now looking back on the past and being like, okay, like still fighting for the past as well. And what that's done, Aquarius, is it's really pinned you down. It's really been pinning you down because there's not enough fairness. There's not enough balance in your life. You're completely pinned down with your thoughts. You're under a lot of pressure with your thoughts. There's not enough balance in your life. It's time to move on. It's time to just allow yourself to move on to greener pastures, to easier times. And the best way to do that is to just release your mind. I know Mercury retrograde causes a lot of thoughts at once. But it's time to just release your mind, you know, and you do that by emotionally giving back. That's the best way to convince your mind that you are abundant, that you have enough, that you are completely full, by giving, especially to the people that don't expect it. Because I think for a long time, you've been giving to those people who do expect it. And that's where the resentment forms. And that's where it's kind of like, now you're back. You know, where were you? Now you're back that you need something and you feel this pressure and this obligation and this responsibility to give to them, but it's like they're not the people that need it. They're not the people that need it. It's just not balanced. So give your emotional and financial power to those who deserve it, and that's going to completely empower you at home. You're not going to feel like people are taking from you anymore. You're not going to feel like you're on completely unstable foundation. You're going to be able to feel that empowerment again. You're going to start to embody that King of Wands energy that you so desperately want, that natural confidence. You're not going to be doing a balancing act with power. You're going to start to really be able to create a form of abundance, you know, and really bringing in the feminine and the masculine qualities of confidence and abundance and luxury. And that's going to bring in some messages of a lot of opportunities for growth, especially with your partner, with whatever relationship that means the most to you, with your soulmate, and it's just going to lead to a lot of happiness, okay? So, recognizing, that's the theme of the reading, recognizing you've been very pinned down because you're out of whack, you're out of balance, because something, when it came to this new money, this new power that came into your life, it really revealed some true colors. So don't deny it. It may not have been obvious. It could have just been like a passing thought where you're like, that was kind of a weird comment, you know, like, what does that mean? You're going to really like realize that's going to spark something. And you're like, okay, this was fun. But now I'm realizing with that full moon in Libra that I'm fighting for something in my past that I'm just not going to get with this person, with myself. And that's what's causing this pent up energy where you feel very compressed, very kind of, I want to say ostracized, just like really flattened, and it's just because you're completely out of balance. It's time to move on when it comes to your thoughts surrounding giving, and you can do that, by changing who you're giving to. Give to those who are appreciating it. For instance, I used to always just donate my clothes into like those bins, you know, and I just put them in the bins and forgot about it. And it's not that it felt good. It felt good because I felt like I was unleashing some heavy loads, but it wasn't until recently when I gave away clothing to a specific person who needed it, and I gave away a lot of baby stuff and baby products, which can be really expensive, of course. And this woman was so appreciative to the point where I was like, oh my gosh, like it really made me realize my status and my abundance by something that I was, you know, other people would have just thrown away. I was like, I'm going to give this to you. And she was so appreciative because her sister was about to have a baby as well. So changing who you're giving to and giving to people that really appreciate it is going to change you as well. And I'm not just talking about what you financially give away. I'm talking about what you emotionally give away, what you're paying attention to, what you're really giving your emotional mind and energy to, and everyone. Even a like on Facebook is an energy exchange, you know? You're going to like that person complaining, you're going to give them that time of day, or are you just going to completely ignore it, you know? That's going to really empower you. It's going to make you feel like you're not being taken from anymore, not taking away your sense of freedom, your sense of change. You're going to feel a lot more stable in your foundation. You're going to feel like you can start to really embody what comes along with power, what comes along with more financial wealth, what comes along with confidence and with that natural confidence walking into a room. You're not going to feel as kind of, you're going to be able to really create a new sense of self that really balances out your masculine and feminine energy and vitality and confidence. Can't stress that word enough. In order to really receive some messages of new opportunities that are going to empower the partnerships in your life, the relationships in your life, as well as your soulmate, leading to some really, really happy times, okay? That's the theme. Now, let's talk about the reading. So this is about Queen of Pentacles, okay? This feels like a person. This definitely feels like a person. It doesn't feel like an energy. I'm going to describe who this person is. This person is like on a roller coaster ride. They, like, sometimes you feel like you really have to hold on for dear life when you're around them because they're just up and down, up and down. This person is very focused on their finances. And I'm seeing a number sign. So it could either be somebody who's like addicted to like Twitter or addicted to Instagram, who isn't, but it's a female energy who's addicted to what's trending and addicted to kind of, I'm also seeing like numbers. So could also be just addicted to winning, like maybe like a tic-tac-toe where, you know, they take small wins, you know, they take very small wins and they kind of really use that to boost themselves up. This person has a C and an E in their first, middle, last name, C and an E. Cold. They're kind of cold. They've had a cold past. Like they had a really cold childhood growing up, and that's why they are how they are. They're so focused on their power and their financial wealth that they've pretty much forgotten to water their own grass. They can complain a lot because they're always looking at, you know, holding onto their power like this and holding onto their wealth, that they're not spreading it out evenly. They're not giving back. And that's where it's frustrating you, because you're at a point now where you're like, I need to give back. And this person is so focused on their power and their wealth that they're just not spreading, they're not watering the grass, essentially. So that's what this reading's about. Should be the first person you thought of. Obstacle and the aid to that person, like I mentioned, is greed. Okay, this person is somebody that comes in the home and family. Either they're very close to your home and family, or they themselves, you know, are very close to their own home and family, or they're within your home and family. But this person, there's a lot of greed. There's a lot of greed, and that is the obstacle and the aid to them. So as much as their abundance feels great, it's really not abundance and power. It's really greed. They're not going to let go. They're not going to let up, okay? A lot of greed there. You know, they see, I think the greed is coming from sorrowful eyes, though. I think the greed is coming from their lack. Remember I was talking about their cold past, their cold childhood? They had a lack, and that's why, like, they're trying to hold on to their power, aka their finances, as a way to kind of heal themselves, you know, instead of realizing that if they were to just spread that, they'd feel a lot happier. But that's something I think they have to learn on their own. Subconsciously, you've been judging this person a lot of judgment toward this person, or it could be judgment from them, but this feels more so like you want to blow the whistle on their greed, where it's like, well, what about you? Okay, I'm seeing a duck or a swan. Could be like the ugly duckling syndrome, and that's where the sorrowful eyes are coming from. You know, especially if they're obsessed to Twitter and Instagram. When you really stop to think of it, that is a form of narcissism. So it could just be that they have an ugly duckling syndrome. So all the judgment that you're putting on them is just fueling that greed even more. Because it's not greed in the common sense way. It's greed as in, I lost a lot of power growing up, so I'm going to hold on to this for dear life. Like, we kind of have to have compassion for this person. You're thinking that you've been doing a lot of alone time, and that you've learned a lot because of it. You've learned a lot. You birthed something recently. You've been nurturing something recently, and that's created a lot of alone time. But you're really building up your strength. People are seeing you with a different type of strength, okay? They're really, like, with everything that's been going on with this new money, new empowerment, they're like, wow, you know, Aquarius, you're killing it. You know, they're really kind of looking at you like, wow, you're finally getting your come up. You know, everything's infinite. Sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up. You're finally getting that back around. Things are now finally settling into place. It's like the last nail on I shouldn't say on the coffin, but it's the last nail in the project of making a table that is going to just feed you so much abundance and happiness and wealth and emotional success. The last nail is being put into place, okay? And people are seeing that, and they're a little bit intimidated because they've never really seen a full Aquarius, you know, power up, and they're kind of like, what is this going to entail? The good thing is that hopefully after this reading, you are going to start to put up those boundaries and be like, yeah, I'm not giving it to you. You know, I'm going to give it to people who actually deserve it. So that's kind of, I think they're already starting to sense that, yeah, you've been doing really well, and you've been building yourself up, and you birthed something incredible, something very nurturing, but who you're going to be giving it to? Family and friends, they've got a lot of opportunities for growth. They've got a lot of opportunities, and I think that's another thing that's frustrating to you, because family and friends, they could go out and do what they need to do, just like you have, but they're not. They're sort of just focusing on the here and now, especially if this Queen of Pentacles is in your family and friends, and that's kind of contributing, that's kind of like within the same family unit. Queen of Pentacles, a lot of opportunities. Family, friends, a lot of opportunities. Nope, just going to hold on to this one, and then soon enough, those opportunities just, and it's out of fear, you know? So as much as you've been doing a lot of alone time, it could be that your family and friends really need your guidance right now, okay? Hope and fear, financial security for the family. That's what I'm saying, Aquarius. You want to empower the family, for sure. Of course you want to empower the family. there's a fear there because the family, especially this Queen of Pentacles, you're starting to see a greedy side of them, and you're just wondering if it's worth it. You know, you want to empower them, but you're like, how are you going to use the power that I give? So that's something that you really want to work through, okay? Last card. That fighting. That fighting. So, first step is recognizing that you've been going at it alone. You've been doing it alone. The Queen of Pentacles, she or he is there. They're there, but they're really just focused on what they're doing. You're doing it alone. You're alone right now. That's the first step to realizing that this fighting, this competition, this competing for change and freedom, you're doing it alone. It may seem like the Queen of Pentacles is doing it with you and saying, hey, let's fight for this, let's save for this, let's do what we need to do. Can't stress it enough, you're doing it alone. Okay? And that's what's going to become very, very clear soon. And that's going to bring up some issues when it comes to your commitments within the home and family. That's going to bring up some issues when it comes to, there's some sort of celebration too. There's some sort of celebration coming up. You know, sometimes this could be marriage. Sometimes this could be, you know, a communion. It could be some sort of celebration, a graduation, but pretty much something that ties the knot, that ties everything together, and it is a family celebration. But because you've been really alone and really fighting for that alone time as well and fighting for that freedom, are you even going to go? Are you even going to go? Because at this rate, Aquarius, you know, it's time to really think about what's important here. If you've been doing this alone for a long time, it's been a little bit of a charade, you know? So, are you even going to go? Would you go? Would you go? If there was a serious, you know, wedding or some sort of family celebration in April, would you actually feel a part of the family? Or is this Queen of Pentacles so focused on her own or his or her own power and greed that you wouldn't even feel welcomed? You wouldn't even feel welcomed. Because like I said, you've been given a lot to the family and friends. Given a lot. And you have a lot of strength. And people are coming out of the woodwork, asking for handouts, asking for help, you know. That full moon in Libra really brought up some issues because it was in an air sign, just like you are. So, but anyways, that is the outcome, is that there is going to be some sort of family gathering this month that you have to go to. You have to stop with the hermit, and you're obligated to go. So it's your decision. You're going to be fighting to not go. You're going to be fighting, being like, I don't want to compete with these people. This is too much. I just want to focus on my alone time, doing what I'm doing. But this Queen of Pentacles is really going to be saying, you got to go. You got to go. So let's see. How can I help you guys? What do the Aquariuses need to know for April 2018? And then we'll talk about the free photo reading. Aquarius, April 2018. Okay. Mother Mary. Mother Mary. So another maternal figure, another figure of when it comes to family. This is who you should be asking for guidance and support from. Nobody else. Mother Mary, tapping into this energy. And it's as simple as, you know, a lot of times asking an angel or an energy source for guidance is really as simple as just quieting down your thoughts, taking a couple inhales, deep exhales, really just kind of getting centered, calling out to Mother Mary, asking for a sign, asking for some sort of guidance, and then being open to receiving it. And the signs come in a lot of crazy different ways, but you'll know it. It'll be a song that comes on and the lyrics just really speak to you, and then you Google the lyrics and you're like, holy crap, this makes sense. It could be a number, it could be a sequence of numbers. You look at the time after you know, and you're seeing repeating numbers and you Google it and that means something. You could see a license plate when you're driving and you're like, oh, and that will be the answer. You'll know intuitively that it's the sign that you've been asking for. So, that being said, I am giving out free photo readings this month. I think I offered it last month, but I can't remember, so I'm just offering it to everybody. I'm asking that you please send me an unfiltered picture. If it's of the Queen of Pentacles, I would definitely prefer if you sent me a picture of you with the Queen of Pentacles, mainly because, you know, we want to have their permission before I'm not really tapping into their energy. I'm just kind of looking at a picture and reading it. If we did a personalized reading, then I would need their permission, of course. King of Wands, definitely send me a picture. Anybody in this reading that you feel you're having some confusion with or having hard times with, or even, of course, send me a picture of yourself and I'll tell you exactly what I see. It's really fun. It's been awesome. It's really been heightening my intuition. The only thing that I ask in return so that you and I have a little bit of an energy exchange is that you please subscribe and share this video, because I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers this month, and I'm believing it, so I'm achieving it, and I would really appreciate that. I love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing April, and I will talk to you guys in May. Bye, Aquariuses.